If you're moving to the West Houston area, chances are you overlook townhomes in favor of single-family detached homes. But by doing so, you're missing a ton of great options that offer you a low-maintenance lifestyle. Hi, I'm Carolyn Bauerschlag, a local real estate agent helping people just like you relocate from all over our great country right here to West Houston. There are obviously a lot of major differences between living in a townhome or a single-family detached home, and I'm going to cover 8 of those differences here for you today so you can see which one is right for you. The first is your domain. When you have a single-family detached home, you are king of the castle. You can do whatever you want in your backyard. You can build a pool, you can build an outdoor kitchen, you can build a beautiful koi pond or a relaxation garden, or do nothing to the backyard and it's going to be totally fine. But when you live in a townhome community, you live kind of on a postage stamp, and you might only have a good neighbor fence, right, where you can kind of see people to the left and right of you. So you're not going to have the space to do exactly whatever you want. You're more of like a tenant in the castle versus king of the castle. And this kind of translates to the front of the home too. If you live in a single family detached home, you can kind of still do whatever you want. You can landscape how you see fit, you can set your irrigation schedule, and if you wanted to paint your brick, you just have to get HOA permission and they're probably going to say yes to it. But when you live in a townhome community, those choices really aren't yours. They're probably going to be maintaining the front yard, they handle the irrigation schedule, and I can all but guarantee you cannot change the exterior at all. Now, the reason that you can't make a lot of changes in a townhome is typically due to the HOA. So the next major difference between these two property types is how the HOAs behave. If you live in a single-family detached home, chances are you're going to be in a neighborhood out here in West Houston that is a part of an HOA. Most places in West Houston, regardless of property type, are going to have an HOA. But between the two, there are some major differences. If you live in a single-family detached home, your HOA dues in a given year are going to be somewhere between $1,200 to $1,500 on average. And they're going to kind of leave you alone. You're going to get used to kind of the community amenities like 14 pools, miles of walking trails, pickleball courts, kind of all of the fun stuff, fitness centers, all that good stuff. And they're going to maybe send you letters if you don't comply with their HOA covenants and restrictions, but you're not really going to hear from them a whole terrible ton. And on an annual basis, your HOA dues aren't really going to change probably all that much. Now, if you live in a townhome, these HOAs are extraordinarily active. And the reason for that is that they have to be responsible for the exterior building. They're the ones who are insuring the property, they're taking care of the exterior, and they have to kind of be involved in your business. Now, these HOA dues are also going to be more elevated. So in general, if you live in a townhome, I'm going to expect to see somewhere between $300 to $400 a month in HOA dues versus just $1,500 in a given year. Now, those HOA dues don't pay for nothing. You are buying the right to have a lower maintenance lifestyle. So you're going to have a shared pool instead of having to take care of your own. You might have shared amenities like tennis courts or walking trails that you don't have to maintain yourself. You're also not going to probably be responsible for shopping insurance for the exterior of the building at all, and that takes a huge expense off your list. And if you're somebody who really doesn't care for exterior maintenance or any kind of yard work, a townhome might be the right place for you where you can just throw the keys at the door and go. Now, a third major difference between a townhome and a single-family home is kind of obvious, and it's proximity. If you're the type of person that would rather not make eye contact with anybody, a townhome is probably not the right place for you. By nature, you're going to share 1 or 2 walls with your direct neighbor, which means when you open your car door, you're going to be about 5 feet from your neighbor. You're going to have to say hi, you're going to get to know them, you're going to have to negotiate kind of the easements and the boundaries to make sure that you're not too involved in each other's space, right? If what you need is a lot of elbow room, of course a townhome is not going to be the right choice for you. You really do need to be on a single family home where you've got a proper traditional yard. Now, one kind of fear I've heard from people is that they say, if I go live in a townhome, is it going to be like living in an apartment? And what they mean by that is, am I going to hear my neighbors, right? And what I can tell you is based on experience, talking to people, talking to builders, and talking to people who've resided in the townhomes, there are actual firewalls that are built between the townhome units. So it's like cinder block, thick brick situations, not just the kind of papery drywall that you get in an apartment style complex. So I would say most people tell me that they don't know or notice their neighbors when they're inside their home at all. Now, another major reason that people choose a townhome over a single-family detached home is, of course, maintenance. And put differently, I would say this kind of tags back to your lifestyle. So if you're debating the differences between the two, I would say, does your life demand that you're out of the house all the time? And if it is, a townhome might be the right choice for you. Someone else is taking care of your yard. Someone else is responsible for cleaning the gutters. Someone else is responsible for roof maintenance, for keeping up the exterior. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have the space to put in a pool. And so that's just not something that you can take care of. So if you're a young professional, if you have little kids on the go, or if you have to travel for work all the time, a townhome might be a fabulous choice. Now, if on the other hand, you really enjoy taking care of a single family detached home, it does come with all of that maintenance. There is some pride in ownership that you, of course, can derive from that. But a single family detached home will, in general, demand a lot of your time. Another major advantage to consider when buying a townhome versus a single family detached is that a townhome in general is going to be in a very walkable area. Now, townhomes don't have a lot of elbow room left to right, and so they tend to be in heavily populated, more densely populated areas. So this is going to be your fastest way to get to a city center or to more of the exciting things that are more central in a particular city. If you live in a single family detached home, you buying that extra elbow room all but ensures that what's going to be around you are just houses and houses and houses and houses, which all but guarantees that you must get in the car to get to basic things like a grocery store. So I would say walkability for the convenience of errands or proximity to work or fun things is out of the question on a single family detached home. The sixth factor that people really consider when debating a townhome versus a traditional home is, of course, the amount of square footage that you can get. Now, in a townhome, in general, I would say you're going to find 1,500 to maybe 2,200 square feet. On the large end, they might be 2,500 square feet. So if your personal demands don't go any larger than that, a townhome might be a great option for you. Now, kind of the sadder side of that is that these townhomes also come with maybe one car garage. They may not have a lot of attic space. They might be limited on overall closet space. So you really have to consider not just like how you live in the home, but what you need to store. If you're someone who likes to do hobbies or tinker in the backyard, or if you've got, you need a craft room or a place to spread out in the garage, this might not be the right choice for you. Now, single family traditional homes out in the West Houston area go anywhere from 1,500 square feet all the way up to castles. You might get 4,500 square feet on a half an acre lot, right? Where you can do anything and everything that you need. So I would say when debating the two, make sure that you consider how you're going to live in the home and what you need to store. The seventh major difference when people are considering townhome versus single family homes is probably one of the most significant, and that's price. Right? So when you buy a townhome in the West Houston area, you can find a ton of great options that are in the high 200s to mid $300,000. And if you've been shopping in the West Houston area and you've only been looking at single family homes, you know that price point is hugely significant. The most of the homes that you're going to be looking at are probably somewhere between $450,000 and edging up into those mid sixes pretty quickly. So if what you need to do is really manage a budget, I can't think of a better way to do it on the West Houston side than considering a townhome. And the eighth major difference between townhomes and your traditional home is something that goes hand in hand with pricing, and that's appreciation. Now, while these townhomes are less expensive, it's literally easier to get your foot in the door. What you have to consider is that townhomes in general appreciate more slowly than their single-family counterparts. Now, the reasons for this are varied. The first is that townhomes are perhaps not as marketable as single-family detached homes. When you go to sell your home, not everyone wants a one-car garage. Not everyone can handle only 2,200 square feet. And not everybody really wants to deal with HOAs and shared walls, right? So when you're looking to sell, you might be selling to a smaller pool of buyers, and that tends to have a governing effect or a capping effect on how quickly those townhomes appreciate. And conversely, when you're considering a single-family detached home, those do tend to appreciate more quickly because they're more attractive to a wider pool of buyers. You're going to have first-time home buyers, people that are scaling up, scaling down, retirees, seniors that only want a single story, not a townhome on 2 or 3 stories, right? So when you have more demand for a particular product, naturally they tend to appreciate faster. But that's not to write off the appreciation of a townhome. Let's say you bought a townhome as your first home and you're not ready to sell it. You could keep it as a part of your portfolio because it would make a fabulous investment property. You could lease it out to a person that was just like you. Maybe you're someone who is an investor or someone who threw the keys at the door because you needed a low maintenance lifestyle. There's someone right behind you that needs that lifestyle too. Both townhomes and traditional homes are attractive in their own right, and I, for one, am thrilled to see more townhome options available on the West Houston side. If you're thinking of moving to the West Houston area, I would love to be your realtor. I'm a living, breathing person right here that can answer all of your questions. And if you have a question that I didn't answer today, make sure to drop it in the comments below and I'll make sure to respond. If you found value in what you watched today, make sure to click the link below and subscribe because we put content like this out every single week. See you soon.